Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles, now should the Birds sign safety Julian Blackmon and pivot away from Justin Simmons? The thought process here, Blackmon, the younger player, the cheaper player, but still very impactful. Also, at the back end of the show, to all of the real ones out there who continue to watch our program and are subscribed to the channel, we'll take some of your questions for a little bit of a mailbag. Let's start off here with Julian Blackmon. Really intrigued by the player, and we're doing this segment because I saw a lot of people in the comment section from Thursday's show saying, Chase, I kind of like Julian Blackmon a little bit more than Justin Simmons. And a lot of people saying that because he's younger, cheaper, but is he as effective, or could he be as effective as a Justin Simmons at that safety spot alongside Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, and Sidney Brown? I'll tell you this, he's certainly intriguing. Good size at the safety position at 6'2", 202. Came into the league with pedigree, third-round pick out of Utah. I always love a Kyle Whittingham coach football team. They play so tough out in the Pac-12, RIP, and they're going to continue to be an upper echelon program, and they're always a tough and tall test for other quality programs across the country, regardless of the conference, because they play a physical downhill style of football, and the atmosphere there in Utah is electric. Blackmon coming off a career year, Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 72.6, allowed a passer rating of 57.5, 4 interceptions on 545 coverage snaps, 0 touchdowns given up in coverage. And you look at those stats, 88 total tackles. He can make some plays around the line of scrimmage from time to time, but he's more of that deep ball hawking, ball instincts type of safety. 5 TFLs, the 8 PBUs with the career high 4 picks. His coverage numbers in depth, that quarterback rating, 55.8. 0 touchdowns given up. Only surrendered 354 yards in totality, and when he was targeted, gave up a completion rate of 70%. There are also these in-depth numbers. He's a sound tackler. Number 3 in missed tackle rate, according to Pro Football Focus, and among all safeties in the National Football League, number 7 in passer rating allowed. This kind of feels like another one of those Howie Roseman signings. Young player who a lot of people don't know about, who's starting to ascend, and analytically, very sound player as well. You look at the career numbers, he did tear his Achilles back in 2021, so that's a little bit of an issue, but since then, he's come off in 2022 with 14 games played, and in 2023 with 15 games played, and when he's played pretty much full seasons, right? 2020, 6 PBUs as a rookie, 2 picks, 42 tackles, 4 TFLs, good production right there. In 2022, 50 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 pass breakups, and 1 interception. And this past year, in a contract year, by far the best season up to this point in his career, with those 88 tackles, career high, 5 TFLs, career high, 8 PBUs, career high, and 4 interceptions, career high. And again, those coverage numbers, according to PFF, very, very solid. And this is a player who is not really going to break the bank. And at Millie315, I see you in the comments section saying number 3 in missed tackles pass. No, that's third least. So he missed the third least amount of tackles among all safeties in the NFL, which means he's a very good tackler in the open field. So with that, let's pose this question, which is certainly a big one for all Eagles fans out there. Pick a safety. Justin Simmons, who's going to enter his age 31 season. Julian Blackmon, 25, younger player, cheaper player, type JB. And you put a Blackmon or a Simmons on this Eagles team, and then the Eagles safety depth chart goes from being maybe a question mark, somewhat thin, to being a strength. It also gives you flexibility, right? You can use C.J. Gardner-Johnson, slot nickel. He could play safety as well. Reed Blankenship can be used up close to the line of scrimmage because he's physical, has a good wide body, and he can make very, very physical tackles and is a sound tackler. You have Sidney Brown, who you can use in a couple of different ways. And then Mekhi Garner, Tristan McCollum, they're going to be competing for roster spots. But if you have a Blackmon or Simmons, in addition to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, it changes our worldview of this Eagles team at that safety spot. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, for daily shows on the Birds. We just surpassed 73,000 subscribers. So if you want consistent, entertaining, insightful, informative Eagles coverage every single day, this is the place for you. Let's start to take some of your questions. Tanner Plummer, watching the show from Cancun, and he says, see your sup, guys, still representing from Cancun. Is there any news about James Bradberry? No news as of yet. The most recent news I can give you on James Bradberry is what Howie Roseman said at the Combine, that Bradberry is still in their plans. I will give you some of the financial implications, right? If he's cut pre-June 1, the dead money is $15 million. The cap savings is $10 million. If he is cut post-June 1, the dead money goes down to $10 million, but the cap savings goes down to $6 million. They backloaded that contract, making it a little bit difficult to let go of Bradberry without having to eat a lot of money. I think they run it back with them. His career up to this point, one good year, one bad year, one good year, one bad year. Maybe that trend continues and he's solid in 2024. Andrew Nathan, Chase, people are asking, where is Smitty's extension? But I believe Howie is waiting so that he can use this fifth-year option and extend him before the season. Extension wouldn't hit the cap until 2026. That's a good thought there. I think from the player's standpoint, the player always wants to get that contract going into that fifth year. Therefore, they know that beyond that fifth year, they have financial security and financial control. Devontae Smith, in this instance, is going into year 4. I get it. Landon Dickerson got his deal, but Landon Dickerson didn't have that fifth-year option because he was not drafted in the first round. So Devontae Smith, with him, there's some more flexibility because there's an additional year if you exercise that fifth-year option. So next offseason might be the time to do that. The issue with that, wide receiver market could continue to explode. Calvin Ridley, who Devontae Smith is better than, more productive than, more available than, and younger than, just reset the market getting $23 million per year. So a player like Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, CeeDee Lamb, the asking price for those players might be 23, 24, 25 million per. CD might even be a little bit more than that. Legendary Donut. And by the way, Devontae Smith, you know Howie Roseman's going to be able to add dummy years. He's going to be able to backload the contract. He did the same thing with Landon Dickerson, where he has cap hits between $20, $30 million. It's never going to happen because at that point, you just restructure the deal. Legendary Donut. When do you think Howie takes an offensive lineman? Boy, if he takes an offensive lineman at 22, does not surprise me at all. Amarius Mims, Talise Fuaga, Graham Barton, Tyler Guyton, Jackson Powers Johnson. He played center at Oregon. If you want to keep Cam Jurgens at right guard, again, that would be an indictment on Tyler Steen. We really have to figure out what they think of Tyler Steen. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all because as we know, Howie Roseman loves to build his team in the trenches. Robert Jones, what's up with Justin Simmons? There was a lot of buzz early in free agency. Tennessee Titans were going to sign him. The Niners have checked in. There's been some loose Eagles interest according to some reports out there. Could he go to another defensive starved team that could maybe win a Super Bowl after being on a Broncos team that's been bad over the last couple of years? Special player, really, really good player, leads the NFL in picks since coming into the league in 2016. What's the price tag at 31 years old? He's 31, but he's also a 4-time second-team All-Pro, and he's earned those honors in 4 of the last 5 years, I think. So he's still really, really good and playing at an elite level. Iron Mike, 22nd pick in Reddick. How far does that get us up in the draft? I'm thinking 13 to 15, and we get the cornerback that we need. That's what my thought would be, is that you could go from 22 up to 13, 15. And I think that's a pretty solid value play for Philadelphia if they can't come to an agreement on a contract with Hassan Reddick. I'd like to see him back He's 29 years old. He's one of 3 players in the NFL to have at least 9 sacks the last 4 years, joining Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year in 2023, and Leonard Floyd, who's been kind of a model of consistency since starting his career as a bust with the Chicago Bears. And ideally, you could get like a second-round pick back for Reddick. But you basically supplement that if you trade him away and 22, and then you get a player who you really like at 13 to 15. And you basically, at that point, I think, get the cornerback of your choosing. Because I think the quarterbacks are going to go inside the top 10 to top 12. I think in the top 10, we're going to see Caleb Williams, Jane Daniels, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy all go. And then after that, what do the dominoes do? How do they fall? With Michael Penix and Bo Nix, do we see 6 quarterbacks go in the first round? If that's the case, Joe Alt is going to be a top 10 pick. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a top 10 pick. Roma Dunze is going to be a top 10 guy. So then at 13 to 15, you can get a really, really good corner. Probably the number 1 corner in the draft class. Terrion Arnold, if you like Nate Wiggins, he's thinner, but he's really fast. Kool-Aid McKinstry is coming off that Jones fracture. I wouldn't love that there. Do you go Quinion Mitchell at 13? That would be awesome. And a trade up to 13, in addition to trading away Reddick at 22 for Quinion Mitchell at 13, I'm all in on that move. Iron Mike, you might be onto something. Millie315, who is your dark horse to win the NCAA tournament? I got UConn going back-to-back because they play with the level of cohesion and they have so much talent that I think it's their tournament to lose. The dark horse to win. It's a good question. Chip, you got any thoughts here? Auburn? Auburn as a dark horse? Is it cheating to say Tennessee? Because under Rick Barnes, they've always under-succeeded. Man, but they're like a, 2 seed, 3 seed? Baylor, they're a 3. Somebody said Duke. They're a 4 seed. Let me take a look at the bracket real quick. Clemson Tigers for Chip. Let's take a look at the bracket here. And this is bad video for anybody who made it to this point of the video if you're not watching live. But we don't care. We're having fun. Let's see here. Texas, but I didn't like their showing against Colorado State. How about Oakland? Oakland beating Kentucky. Can they continue to shoot the lights out? They might be eliminated by the time this video comes out. Oregon. Dana Altman has never lost a first-round game in tournament history. Can I throw Illinois in there? But I like Oregon a lot. Oregon, Creighton, what a matchup. What a matchup. So, yeah, some teams there that we like. But I got UConn going back-to-back. Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Eagles content coming your way on a daily basis. We always appreciate the real ones for tuning in.